Hey guys, Lord Wolf 99 back again with another video. And we're back with another Lunar Legends, guys. And if you read the title, it is another Feline Frenzy episode. And as I'm recording this, Bella is actually sat on my desk in front of me. She's watching the gameplay that's currently going on because I use Share Factory to record, and as I'm recording the voiceover, the gameplay is to the left of the screen. She just sat watching it. She's been sat with me for about an hour, to be honest, just watching random stuff on my telly, which is fair enough. You know, if that's how she wants to spend her day, then that's how she wants to spend her day. For anyone interested, the gameplay in the background is Ghost Runner. It's gameplay. It's fresh gameplay. I started the game again, but it's the same game that I used in the background when I very first started Lunar Legends. Okay, Bella is now reaching up at the telly. Get down, darling. Get down. Good girl. But yeah, if you read the title, and you're familiar with this series, and you've seen the first part to this, Feline Frenzy, which I believe I would have uploaded in 2021. I think it was the very first ever Lunar Legends that I did, to be honest. But if you remember rightly, it was about quite a sad time with Bella, who was our new cat at the time. We've had her now for a year and a half, which is nice. She's she's certainly part of the family. No, she's great. I do love her. I give her a lot of shtick, but I do love her. She does annoy me quite a bit, but by the by, she's got her own characteristics and her own personality, and yeah, she's fine. No, I love her. I joke a lot, guys, but I do love her. But yeah, if you remember. If you have watched part one or listened to part one or whatever, you'll understand. If not, I recommend going back and listening to it because it leads kind of straight into this. So at the end of part one, things seem to be going uphill, if you remember rightly, really. We'd obviously lost two kittens. They were stillborn. But our hopes were up when Bella delivered two healthy kittens, and it's taken literally like a year and a half to not move on, but kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't wrote a script for this, guys. This is just pure thoughts coming out of my voice. Out of my mouth right now. I've had time to sort of adjust, grieve properly, I guess, because we were very happy that she had successfully delivered two kittens, and everything was going great for like a week and a half, and then everything just went wrong again. And I'll try and put some pictures of them in the video so you know what they look like. They had so much like personality and charm to them. They were honestly amazing, and they were the light of our lives for like a week and a half, like I say. They were amazing. They really were. And they were named Arra and Hugo. Arra was the girl, Hugo was the boy, and Arra was my little companion. Like, she used to just sit on my shoulder and like cuddle into me, and it was amazing. But for some really unknown reason, they were defective. They had something wrong with them. We still don't really know what. Um, but yeah, they were coming along great. They really were. They were healthy. They were happy. They were starting to learn how to walk and climb and be independent. Bella was obviously still around and keeping an eye on them, but they were mischievous. They were starting to climb out of the box that like Bella had nested in, and they had so much personality. And then I was working on the Friday, and at the time, what we'd done is we'd moved the box into like a little playpen that you'd get for kids. We bought one of them because I needed to work, but I needed like a good enough space so that if they got out of the box, they were still in an enclosed space where they could move around and everything. And Bella could sit in there and watch them and look after them and everything. And yeah, I was sat at work, and Hugo just literally out of nowhere on the Friday just started behaving real weirdly. He wasn't eating. He was barely moving. Like he was. It's hard to recall. Like I've had the time to grieve and everything, but this really was like it's taken a year and a half, guys. Like this was fucking traumatic, and it really, really hurt, and it really stuck with me. Um, and I think it always will. Hugo was struggling, and I was trying to like he was freezing. I was trying to keep him warm. Like I literally, whilst I was working, I got a blanket and like I tied it around myself and made like a makeshift like are they called papooses like you would with a child, and I wrapped him up in that to try and keep him warm, and I was trying to feed him like milk, the cat milk that we had for them, like, and he wasn't. And then the the hardest and probably most traumatic thing in my life up to this point really, um I'm holding him in my arms, and he gave out like a weird crying noise and like shuddered in my arms, and like all of his paws just kind of went up in the air, and he just went stiff. And like at that point it was like I knew what had happened, but I didn't want to admit it. Like Hugo just died in my arms, and it was so fucking hard. Like you have no idea, guys. It was like I wouldn't wish it on anybody. It was the most horrible experience ever to have a creature in your arms that you're trying so desperately to save, and like you're begging it, like because I knew obviously something was wrong, and I was literally begging him to just hold on and just to stay awake and stay with me, and then for him to not give up, but you know what I mean, like for that little bit of life to just disappear. It was really, really fucking hard to process. Like I went to bits at the time. Like I was on the phone to my mum and dad. Like I'd managed to FaceTime them because I was panicking, and like I was on the phone to them when it happened, and I went to bits. Like I was literally just sobbing and like struggling to breathe myself. Like it was really, really fucking hard. Um, it was genuinely horrible, and like I'm I'm a big believer in, especially after I filmed the first episode. I know it's taken a year and a half to film this, but I do believe talking about it in this medium for me helps a little bit. It helps process it, and it helps not get over it, because I don't want to get over it, because, they'll always be a part of our lives, even though we only knew them for a week and a half. They'll always be a part of our lives, and, I don't want to get over them. They're our kittens. They're Bella's kittens, They were a part of our family. And yeah, it was a really hard experience, but I think finally talking about it and just having this medium to express myself and kind of, again, I don't know, I'm hoping for some closure. Like I say, I've had a year and a half to process it, but doing this sort of thing helps with closure, I would say, and it helps me process my thoughts properly about things. Um, but yeah, it was terrifying and so hard, and yeah, we lost Hugo, and it was so hard as well, because although I was on the phone to my mum and dad, I was on my own. Sophie doesn't work from home. Sophie actually goes out to work, and Sophie was at work. I didn't have her, and I couldn't ring her because that's not fair. Like, you can't tell somebody over the phone, that sort of thing, and that wouldn't be fair to her to have to carry on working. So I had to wait until she got home to actually have somebody here with me to sit and process it and go through it and everything like that, and to have somebody to sort of lean on. And we both leaned on each other heavily, and we cried a lot, and we tried processing it, and we tried focusing our attentions on Arra. Like, we'd lost Hugo, we wanted to put all of our efforts into keeping Arra healthy and happy, and we got an extra few days with Arra. Like, Hugo died on the Friday, Arra died on the Monday, and again, it was so sudden and weird, and that weekend, like, I was just, I had it in the back of my mind. I knew, after it had happened to Hugo, I knew this could happen to Arra. Like, it could, and I had that thought in the back of my head, but then she seemed so happy and healthy, and she was amazing. Like, she got to the point where she started following Bella. Like, she got to the point where she was so confident when walking. Like, Bella was teaching her to like actually walk, like, not just around this play pit. Like, they were getting out of the play pit, and Arrow would follow her into the kitchen, and it was amazing. And I think I've got some videos of that. I can't put them in this video because I'm not that good of an editor, and I can't, like, put videos on the PlayStation to add into the video. So I do apologize. But like I say, I'll try and put some pictures in so that you can see them. They were so fun and so happy and so amazing, and they really did brighten up our lives for like the week and a half that we had them. Like, after going through the heartache and heartbreak of losing two stillborn, and then these two happy little creatures to come along, and they really did brighten our lives. And I think we both got so attached in such a short period of time that it just made it hurt all the more. But yeah, like I say, we lost Hugo on the Friday, and then on the Monday night, the same thing started happening to Ara. She stopped eating, she couldn't move, she was cold. And like, at that point, obviously, I'd already experienced what had happened to Hugo, and we were trying again so desperately to save Ara. And this time I had Sophie with me, at least, because it was nighttime. And yeah, Ara sadly died. And it was fucking horrible. Like, it really was. They didn't deserve that. They really didn't. They were so amazing and cute and just, I don't know. They were just incredible. Like I say, they really did brighten up our lives, and they were just perfect little creatures, honestly. They were so happy and just amazing. And you know, I really do hope. I know they weren't fully developed or anything, but I really do just hope that they knew how loved they were in such a short period of time. I really do hope they, you know, were comfortable in their final moments, and they were happy, and you know, obviously not happy in their final moments, but you know what I mean. Like, I hope they were happy in the short lives that they had. I hope we, you know, made their lives happy. We played with them constantly. Like, we tried, you know, we tried making their lives fun and happy and nice in the short period of time that we had them. And I'll never forget them. Like, I love cats, guys. Cats are like my spirit animal. Like, I love dogs, don't get me wrong, but I would rather have a cat. Like, after having Echo now for like 5, 6 years, and Bella for a year and a half, like, the cats are just amazing. They are genuinely so lovable. They really are. And like, yes, they're independent, but they are genuinely so fucking lovable. And they're incredible. Like, they really do bring so much joy to your lives. And yeah, losing Arra and Hugo was horrible. Like, it it fucking killed us, like, inside for a very long time. And I mean, you can probably hear it in my voice now. Like, we don't really talk about them much anymore. Like, not to say we've forgotten them, because, like I say, we really haven't. They're a part of our family. They always will be. But we have got to that point with grieving that, you know, it's becoming a little easier. I guess, if that's the right way to look at it. It'll always be hard, and we'll always love them, but it has become easier to sort of process that and deal with it, as it were. And obviously, we had our families, and they helped us a lot get through that initial like horrible mourning period. But yeah, it'll never leave me. They will always be a part of our family, and they will always be remembered. Like, we got so many pictures of them, so many. They're they genuinely were a part of our family. Like, we've got a photo book dedicated to them. We've got photos of them just in our normal photo album. Like, they'll always be a part of our family. I feel like I'm mumbling or, like, you know, rambling, but that's my process. Like, I do that a lot in these videos, and it helps me. It's just me talking at the end of the day. It's how I process things, I guess. But yeah, and then things were great for a while. After that, like, in terms of Bella and Echo being healthy, and, you know, not really too much stress with cats, thank God. And then September of last year comes round, and Echo started being ill, and we were panicking, and he was struggling to wee, and sometimes he'd be bleeding, and it was awful. We had to rush him to the vets, and he had to stay in a couple of times. Um, and it was the run up to our wedding, obviously, and it was the stress of like we've got insurance for Echo, but it's a lot of money, and obviously we had to pay like I can't remember what it's called. There's a fee you have to pay all the time. Whenever you go, excess fee I think it's called. You pay that all the time, so that was like building up. We had the stress of money with the wedding right around the corner and us paying for that, and we had the stress of worrying about Echo so much because like Echo's my bud, like Echo's my cat. Like he was like I got him when me and Sophie were together, but it was at a point where we were still long distance and didn't see each other that often, and it was like the start of our relationship really. Like Echo has been with me through a lot and for a long time really. You might not think, like 5, 6 years is long, but it is. So I was like really worried about him. Like, I wouldn't go to sleep. Like, just stay up with him and make sure he was okay and sit cuddling him. And like, I don't lie, like it'd get to the point sometimes where I was worrying that much. Like, I'd literally sit and cuddle him and beg him not to leave me. Like, I can't deal with that stress after losing Arra and Hugo the year before. My mind was just like it always comes back to that. I feel like anything goes wrong with Echo and Bella, your mind instantly kind of just goes back to the absolute worst because we've experienced the worst now, and it's scary. It's a scary thought process to be in, and you realize that you're probably over exaggerating and panicking way too much when you don't really have a reason to, because these things are treatable. But you just, because we'd experienced all that, your mind just kind of goes to shit. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking horrible. But he's a lot better now. He's currently laid on the bed in the spare room where I am. He's been snoozing all day, and he's just kind of staring off into like nothingness at the moment. Fair enough. He likes to always closing his eyes. I think he's going back to sleep. Fair enough, bud. Fair enough. But yeah, he's been alright since then. The last time we had to take him to the vet was like the start of December. But since then, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood, not jinxing anything. He's been good. He's on a special diet that helps him urinate and everything properly in the way that he should be. So yeah, he's a very happy, healthy chappy. Could do with losing a bit of weight, but he's like his owner in that regard. But then there is one other thing as well I wanted to add in this video, guys. I was fucking really worried about her at the time, but this was literally only a few days ago as well. But Bella, well, like, I had a friend over a few days ago, and we were just sat in the kitchen, talking, and Bella turns her head to like stare at me. She got one eye open, one eye closed, and her mouth's wide open. And it's not unusual. She does stuff like that all the time. She's just derpy. Like, she genuinely just does pull stupid faces sometimes. But then she literally like stood on her back legs and like lifted one of her front paws like up to her head and just literally like froze. Like, it was so weird. Like, she just literally like froze, stood up, and like obviously cats don't do that. And I shat myself. Like, I jumped out of my chair and like caught her because she was literally collapsing. And yeah, she literally just, she was curled up in my arms for a few minutes, just unable to move, and it was fucking scary, guys. Like, again, like, whenever anything kind of goes wrong with them now, because we've experience, the worst, excuse me, your mind kind of just goes on autopilot and goes to that place, and you instantly just think, God, please, no, like, I can't do this, like, don't put me through that again, like, and luckily she was fine, like, a couple of minutes later, like, she was fine, she was back to her normal self, but so weird, like, we think it was just like a dead leg or like a weird reaction to something. She's been absolutely fine since. She's healthy, still her annoying self, which is great. But yeah, it was terrifying, to be honest. Um, like even my friend was saying, like we were talking to her afterwards. Obviously, she can't respond, but you know what I mean. You talk to animals, and he was saying like he was pretty sure at one point that she was going to give me an heart attack. Like it was just it was horrible. Like I genuinely didn't know what was happening, and like say your mind does go to that place, and you just think shit, like what the fuck. But like I say, a few minutes later, she was back to herself. She was yeah. It was just very weird. But yeah, that's an update on the feline frenzy that is our life with cats, I guess. I'm really hoping that there's never another episode of this. Um, like, never another video documenting any weird shit that happens in our lives with our cats. Like, please just that be it now. Like, my heart and my brain just can't take it, to be honest. Like, it hurts so much. I just, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to ever go through that again. But yeah. Hopefully we won't have to. Touch wood. Touch wood. Everything will be happy and amazing and perfect. Isn't that right, Yawny boy? Yeah. He didn't answer me. One of these days he'll answer in perfect English. Won't you, Echo? He doesn't care. But yeah, that's we're pretty much wrapped up, guys. That is another episode of Feline Frenzy. Well, another episode of Lunar Legends. Just so happened to be another Feline Frenzy. But like I say, talking about these things, I find kind of therapeutic. It was something I really didn't want to talk about, like outside of my immediate family and friends for a very long time. Like it is something that genuinely traumatized me. The stuff with Arra and Hugo, but you know, life goes on. You find a way to kind of move on, I guess. You know, you find a way to grieve. Is probably the better way of putting it. You find a way to grieve and process your thoughts and your feelings, and we've both done a pretty good job of doing that over the past year and a half. But I do find making videos about these sort of things help in some regards. So yeah. But yeah, with that being said, guys, this is the end of another Lunar Legends. This is all I've got planned for Lunar Legends currently, so it might be another long hiatus before you get another Lunar Legends episode. But there's a couple of Brainless Believers in the works and things like that, and plenty of gaming content going up at the moment. So plenty to sort of, you know, fill your beak, as it were, if you're interested in the other stuff. If you're not and you're only interested in Lunar Legends, then I apologise, but like I say, I don't know when I'll be back with another episode. Just as and when, really. As and when the ideas come to me or the stories come to me. You know what I mean? But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I will see all you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Love all you beautiful, beautiful people. Bye-bye! Oh, see you guys. Oh.